Welcome back to A Field Wire, Liverpool fans. We've got some huge breaking updates today. Arne Slot has finally spoken about the latest injury to Hugo Ekitike, the future of Mohamed Salah and the big decisions ahead of the Merseyside Derby against Everton. With several players set to miss the game, major changes could be coming for Liverpool. Before we get into all the details, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool news, transfer updates and match analysis right here on A Field Wire. Now let's get straight into the latest Liverpool news. Arne Slot speaks out on Liverpool transfer plan and Mohamed Salah exit after Hugo Ekitike's injury. Arne Slot says Liverpool will be active in the summer transfer market, though sales will be needed again to ensure that there is money to spend on additional signings. Liverpool head coach Arne Slot says the Reds will need to be active again in the summer transfer market, but he has reminded fans that sales may also be required to help fund those moves. Sporting director Richard Hughes will lead the recruitment drive again, with key men such as Andy Robertson and Mohamed Salah already having been confirmed as heading for the exit door. This team has already shown, as they did in so many other moments, that they can compete with the best in Europe, Slot said ahead of facing Everton this weekend. We beat 3 other quarter-finalists with Atletico, Real Madrid and Arsenal. That tells you that this is already a very strong team. It takes some changes with Robbo and Mo leaving, but as I said many times, the future looks very bright for us. I am not thinking in numbers in terms of new players. We're thinking in terms of areas and which players we already know who are going to leave. And let's see what happens in the summer. You know, we are a trading club, so let's first see what is actually going to happen. Signing a replacement for Salah who can inject some more pace into the Liverpool attack would seem like one obvious move to make. Exciting young talent Jeremy Jacquet has already been signed to play centre-back. Last summer we made quite a lot of signings and that's why we traded that much, Slot continued. In 4 windows since I am here, we had a net spend of £150 million, $203 million I think. That says what kind of club we are. We know we are changing at least 2 players, but Costas is coming back. The first aim is to see how we are acting in the position of Mo, whether we want to replace him with a similar player or do that differently. For the rest, at this moment of time, there's not a chance of a lot of players leaving. Of course, there is the Ibu contract situation, but then there might not be such a big need of trading a lot if you don't need to bring a lot of players in. Hugo Ekitike is set for a long period on the sidelines, and that might have to play a role in what Liverpool does in the summer market, but the Reds need more depth in key areas. There are also key contract questions to be answered, with Curtis Jones, for instance, only tied down until 2027. Injuries have not been kind to Slot's roster this season, but Liverpool must ensure that it is in a better position to be able to deal with them next term. Arne Slot delivers Alexander Isak assessment following Hugo Ekitike injury. The Liverpool boss was asked about the Sweden forward ahead of Sunday's Merseyside Derby, with Isak set to play a vital role in the final 6 games of the season. Arne Slot has said Alexander Isak is still not ready to play 90 minutes ahead of Sunday's game against Everton. The striker returned last week from a nearly 4-month injury absence and made his first start since December in the midweek defeat to Paris Saint-Germain. Following Hugo Ekitike's season-ending injury, Isak is set to play a vital role in the final 6 matches of the campaign, and Slot said his decision to sign 2 strikers last summer has been fully vindicated. First of all, it is a good thing we have signed 2 No9s, because there were a lot of people debating why we signed 2 No.9s. We thought it might be a smart idea to not be the only club in the world that has only 1 No.9 comma but has 2. Now all of a sudden that looks maybe quite good. Maybe people are now questioning whether in the summer we should sign another No9. Someone said to me the day after PSG, you cannot write the script that on the day Alex is back after 4 months, the other one leaves the pitch with a long-term injury. But it is a good thing Alex is back now even more, although it wouldn't be the first game I have to play without a particular type in a particular position. I have had many games this season where I didn't have a right fullback available, for example. It is nice to have Alex back, but we also know he is not ready to play 90 yet. With Isak now the only fit striker in the squad, Slot was pushed on the need to get the former Newcastle man back up to full fitness. Very important, although there are also other players that can fill in that position. Those players have played in different positions throughout their lives. Cody Gakpo did really well when he came in the second half against PSG. Of course it is important, but you don't get it like that. The best thing was that Hugo was still fit, but if he wasn't, 2 or 3 weeks later would have been better, because Alex is not ready for 90 yet, depending on the intensity of the game, because you never know how a game is going to pan out. He is getting closer and closer. Now, we need him, but there are different options to play as a no.9 comma as well. Federico Chiesa is one of them. There are different options, but it is definitely good to have Alex back now that Hugo is injured. Arne Slot confirms Liverpool injury blow as 6 players to miss Everton game. Liverpool will be without 6 players when it takes on Everton, with Hugo Ekitike the latest to face a lengthy spell on the sidelines after he picked up an Achilles injury. Joe Gomez will miss Sunday's Merseyside Derby with the injury that forced him off against PSG earlier this week. Arne Slot has confirmed, making it 6 players that the Reds will be missing in total. Hugo Ekitike was stretchered off against PSG earlier this week, and he faces a lengthy spell on the sidelines. It was confirmed yesterday that he will miss the World Cup, though there is no exact timeline being placed on his return. Aside from Ekitike, Liverpool will also be without Alisson Becker against Everton. The Brazilian remains out with his latest injury, while Giovanni Leone, Wataru Endo and Connor Bradley are long-term absentees. He hasn't been operated on yet. Slot confirmed on Ekitike. Devastating for him, coming to a new club, having so much impact straight away. Your first thoughts are with him for missing out for such a long time, but there are so many examples of players that came back even stronger. Jamie Carragher was among the pundits to question why Liverpool signed Ekitike and Isak in the same window, but it was clear that the Reds needed 2 quality number 9s. Across the course of the season, they have barely been fit at the same time, with Ekitike now set to be out for months just when Isak has returned from a broken leg. It's a good thing we signed 2 number 9s, Slot continued. Lots of people were debating why we signed 2, but now it looks like a good idea. Now people are saying we should sign another in the summer. Someone said to me the day that you cannot write the script that on the day Alex is back on his first start, the other Ekitike leaves the pitch with a long-term injury. It's even more of a good thing that Alkitz is back, but it wouldn't be the first time I didn't have someone available in a certain position, such as right back. And Alkitz, we know, is not ready to play 90 yet. With Liverpool now having been knocked out of the Champions League, the Reds only have league fixtures to play. After Everton, there are only 5 more matches this season. It's definitely helpful that most of our players are available, and we're now only playing once a week, Slot said. Most of our players have shown they can play every 3 days, but not all of them can. Either they get injured or their performance drops a little bit. From that perspective, it's maybe good we are not playing in Europe anymore, but I definitely prefer to be still in, as it gives the players more energy. Arne Slot provides Hugo Ekitike injury update in first comments on Liverpool striker. The forward suffered a rupture Achilles in Tuesday's Champions League defeat against PSG that will prevent him playing again this season and rules him out of this summer's World Cup. Arne Slot said he is devastated by the news of Hugo Ekitike's season-ending injury. Liverpool confirmed on Thursday that the Frenchman suffered a ruptured Achilles tendon in midweek Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain. The injury will prevent Ekitike playing again this season or participating in the World Cup, although no time frame has yet been provided on his return. It is presumed he will not feature again in 2026. Asked about the news in Friday's press conference ahead of the Everton game, Slot said he hasn't been operated on yet. Devastating for him, coming to a new club, having so much impact straight away, playing against your former club in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, with so much more to come for him in the summer. Your first thoughts always for him being out for such a long time, missing so many special moments. But he is not the first and won't be the last that will experience something like this at the start of his career. And there are so many examples of players who come even stronger, and that is the challenge for him. I am 100% sure he will be one of those that in 10-15 years he will say his injury made him become stronger and become more ready to perform at a higher level than he did before. It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you. I'm not alone. Ekitike posted on Instagram on Thursday, "Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield." In Ekitike's absence, Alexander Isak is expected to play a pivotal role in the final 6 league matches of the season, given he is the only fit striker in Slot's roster. The former Newcastle man started his first match in over 4 months against PSG and was only fit to play 45 minutes. Slot admitted that Liverpool need the striker across the final 6 games, but added he is not yet ready to play a full 90 minutes. Someone said to me the day after PSG, you cannot write the script that On the day Alex is back after 4 months, the other one leaves the pitch with a long-term injury. But it is a good thing Alex is back now even more, although it wouldn't be the first game I have to play without a particular type in a particular position. I have had many games this season where I didn't have a right fullback available. For example, it is nice to have Alex back, but we also know he is not ready to play 90 yet. Paul Merson and Alan Shearer agree as pundits expect same result in Everton versus Liverpool. Liverpool travels to Everton in the Premier League this weekend, with Paul Merson and Alan Shearer in agreement about the likeliest outcome at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Paul Merson and Alan Shearer are both expecting the same result as Liverpool takes on Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time this weekend. With both sides chasing qualification for European competitions next season, there is more than just pride on the line, but neither team will want to lose the first game between the pair in Everton's new stadium. As a result, Merson and Shearer are of the view that it could be a stalemate on Sunday, with Everton going into the clash with confidence, but Liverpool having shown a bit more in matches against Fulham and PSG this week. For the first time in a long time, this is an even game. Merson wrote for Sportskeeda, "You can't really call Liverpool the favourites here. The way Liverpool are playing, you would be shocked if they beat Everton this weekend." Arne Slot took the easy way out by not starting with Rio Ngumoa in the PSG game. He should have been there in the lineup and would have given the crowd a huge lift. So I would go with Ngumoa, Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah as the front three against Everton. They are direct, and once they get the ball, they run at defenders. Liverpool need that away from home against Everton. Liverpool still have good players, and I won't be surprised if they win this game, but something tells me that Everton will get a point. Going into the weekend, there are 5 points and 3 Premier League places between Liverpool and Everton. A win for the Reds would cement their place in the Champions League spots. It's a tough one. Shearer told Betfair, "You know what I'm like when it comes to derby games. I'm going to sit on the fence and say it's going to be a draw." I was going to say to keep both fans happy, but I'm not sure they will be. Everton are having a brilliant season, whereas Liverpool are not, so I think it'll be a draw. Liverpool playing in midweek should not affect them because it's a derby game, and we know what derby games are like, and there's always an added extra atmosphere. The midweek game is no excuse at all for Liverpool because of the size of this game and what it means to the people. Didi Hamann says Arne Slot made mad decision that cost Liverpool. Liverpool was knocked out of the Champions League by PSG midweek and is looking to bounce back this weekend at Everton amid the race to make the top 5 spots in the standings. Former Liverpool midfielder Didi Hamann says Arne Slot made a costly mistake earlier this week that saw the Reds exit the Champions League at the hands of PSG, needing to come from 2 goals down after a first leg where a damage limitation plan only partially paid off, and more by luck than judgment. Liverpool went with Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike as a front two, with Mohamed Salah left on the bench. Half an hour into the game, Ekitike went off with what we now know is a serious Achilles injury. Slot had said before the match kicked off that Isak would only be able to last the first 45 minutes as he continues to rebuild his fitness. "I don't like the look of Liverpool, and obviously playing Isak in a game like this didn't work," Hamann said on TalkSport. "I was surprised when I saw he was playing and then flabbergasted when I heard the explanation that he can only play a half. If you want to give him a chance, and more importantly your team a chance, you bring him on with 10 or 15 minutes to go if you need a goal and give him a chance against tired defenders. But to start him when he's clearly not fit against the best team in Europe at the moment, I think it was just mad." Slot wanted to have as many goal-scoring threats in the team from the start as possible. With Isak only able to play half the game, it was difficult to bring him on as a substitute because of the slim possibility of the 90 minutes being followed by extra time. "You tell me to talk about Mo Salah, he's been invisible since the start of the season," Emmanuel Petit said. "You're talking about Isak, who just came back. He's the only good player who could have caused them problems. He was substituted, with Ekitike now sidelined for a substantial period." Slot will need to make a decision on how much of Sunday's Merseyside Derby Isak can feature in. Cody Gakpo would be the obvious pick to come into the starting 11. He has played as a number 9 several times this season because of a lack of other options, and that could allow Rio Ngumoa to start on the left wing. Hugo Ekitike will force Liverpool change as Arne Slot faces Rio Ngumoa dilemma. Liverpool faces Everton in the Premier League on Sunday, with Arne Slot facing some major decisions ahead of that clash, including how to replace the injured Hugo Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike is set for a sustained period on the sidelines, and his season and World Cup hopes are over. in a major blow for the Frenchman and Liverpool. With 6 games remaining in the Premier League and a top 5 spot already confirmed as being enough to qualify for the Champions League, the aim for the Reds is clear. We have to play in the Champions League next season. We owe this to the club and to the fans. Florian Wirtz told club media this week. That process continues with a first trip to the Hill Dickinson Stadium on Sunday without Ekitike and with Alexander Isak looking so short of fitness in his 45 minutes against PSG. There is a void to be filled at number 9 against Everton. Cody Gakpo might be the answer there, and with plenty wanting to have seen Rio Ngumoha start on Tuesday after he impressed versus Fulham, the clamour for him to be thrown in from the off will be strong. It feels realistic that Ngumoha could be trusted to start on the left flank, even at the age of just 17, not least if Gakpo is required to start through the centre as a result of there being so few other options. On the right-hand side, Mohamed Salah will expect to start, but that is not guaranteed. He was left out against PSG, though he ended up coming on earlier than anticipated as a result of Ekitike's injury. In midfield, Wirtz could operate as the number 10, while there is a decision to be made on which of Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai start, potentially all 3. Defensively, depending on Joe Gomez's injury status after he went off against PSG in the second half not long after coming on, there is a right-back choice to be made, which also involves Jeremy Frimpong. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, there is a case for giving Andy Robertson one last Merseyside derby, fielding the Scotland captain ahead of Milos Kerkez for his experience. Robertson has been there and done it in this fixture before, and he also happens to be the only Liverpool man to have played at the Hill Dickinson already, having appeared for his country there against the Ivory Coast in March. Considering the number of injuries that Liverpool has, Slot has quite a number of decisions to make, and with the clock ticking in the race for the Champions League and Everton not far behind, he really could do with getting those calls right.